Hi, I'm Mr. Orme, and welcome to today's lesson. Today we're going to be learning about looping, or iteration as it is officially known as. And there are two types of loops. There's for loops and there are while loops. Today, in this lesson, I will focus on for loops. And to begin with, I'm going to type for I in range 10. And what a for loop does is basically it will repeat something X number of times. So in this case, it will repeat something 10 times. It will repeat it 10 times. So it will say for I in range 10 times, my range here is 10. The I, though, is known as an index. I don't have to write I could write index, I could write R, I could write T, but to make it simple to start with, I will call it I, which means index. And it is basically the number of whichever loop it's on, the value of the loop that it's on. So for example, the first loop, the first cycle around this program, I'll be on 0. The first of course time round, it'll be 0. That's the next time round, it'll be 1. The next time round 2. The next time round 3. And you can see that when I display I. So when I display I right click and run for loop. It will then display back. It will print I each time it loops, okay? And of course it prints it from 0 to 9. Why not 10? Because programming starts at 0. It's like a lift when you are in the UK. The ground floor is 0, first floor is 1, the next floor is 2, and so on. Okay, so here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It has repeated 10 times, but starting at 0. If I want to manipulate this a bit, so I go from 1 to 10, I could actually say 10 add 1. And I can also say 1, 10 add 1, which will mean it will start at 1 and go through to 11 basically, but I will only see 10. Like so. Again, I can do a little multiplication here. So I can have an input. So I can say multiplier. I could create an input called, a variable called multiplier. And I can assign an input. Of course, I have to, when I'm defining a variable, I have to say what data type it will be, and this will be an integer. I will use the input function, and then please enter a multiplier from 1 to 12. Yeah, 1 to 12. Question mark. And I can then say I times multiplier. A nice thing with PyCharm, it will say, do I want to use this one? Yes, I do. I right click, run, type in a number 7, and it will then go from 7 to 70. It repeats it basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, which is ideal. It actually does it 11, but of course we're starting at 1 there, so we don't see the first loop. Okay, now that's not very clear. We don't know what are these numbers that I'm showing you. I'm assuming that is the 7 times table, but to make it simpler, I can then have I can concatenate to joining, okay, or concatenating some items together. So I can say 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14. So I can say I, comma, and instead of saying the star symbol, because when we're writing down multiply, we of course use times, the X symbol. So just to make it easier, we'll put X, comma, multiplier, comma, and we'll say equals, comma. So I separate each value by a comma. Right click, run, 4, enter, and this time it will say 1 times 4 equals 4, 2 times 4 equals 8, 3 times 4 equals 12. It makes it a bit clearer. Okay. Now where we can take this, where we can apply this is actually to doing a multiplication table. And I'm going to create a new program actually. Right click, new Python file. Multiplication table. Okay. So I'm going to say for col for row in range 12, for col in range 12, and I will say print col. Actually, I'm going to say 1, 12 because the minimum value I want is 1. The max is 12. Add 1 because I want it to go to 12, not to go to 11. Okay. Oops. So I say print col times multiply, which is the star, times row, and then I want to separate it by a tab, which is where I need to use the /t in speech marks. Oops. Okay, and then I'm going to, once it's, so it'll display col times row separated by a tab 12 times, and then I want it to print a new line. Okay, so I don't need to have anything in there, that will just display a new line. So hopefully this will work. Run. Oops. I think I did it the wrong way around. Okay. Yes. I need to say end equals t. Okay, so I need to say col times row, comma, end. So at the end, when it's done it, it will then tab it. So I need to say end equals tab there. Okay, right click run, and this time it will say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then the next line it will then do, so that's basically row times column, it'll just do 1 times 1 equals 1, 1 times 2 equals 2, 1 times 3 equals 3, and so on. Then it goes 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6, and so on, and it does the multiplication table. Okay, thanks for watching, and in the next video we'll be looking at while loops.